Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning in today. I am Jamie Delane Watson, and today we are going to be talking about balancing business and personal posts on your social media feeds. I started my photography business back in 2007, really at the rise of social media platforms. Twitter and Facebook were really new on the scene, and I had them both for my first year in business. And ultimately, they were really instrumental in getting me a lot of clients as I started out in my business. As social media has developed, I think there's been a lot of confusion around how do we use this when our businesses are us. I'm a solo entrepreneur in the sense of my small business brand, Jamie Delane Photography, is Jamie Delane. That's me. And so how do I balance still sharing my life, but recognizing I'm also a brand, I represent a business, and what's the right balance of posts? So I think the first step is eliminating this confusion around we are our businesses. So if you were a marketing director for a huge clothing store, you would not think of Instagramming your pets and your kids and other things in your personal life because you're representing this brand. You would have a style guide and a list of do's and don'ts for marketing that company. I think there's a lot more freedom in running a solo business, as I mentioned, me being my brand versus representing a clothing brand. But there's still those lines that we need to have this list of do's and don'ts for things we will and won't share. I try to strive for a mix of 50% personal and 50% business. I think it would always be okay to have the business side a little bit more prominent than the personal side, but don't be afraid of personal posts. So you need to make a list of things that you will post on your business social media and things that you won't post. So for me, things that I will post will definitely be behind the scenes shots of my business, industry events, new products or services for my photography business. That's recent shoots and weddings and that sort of thing. And then a list of personal things I'll post will be my dog, because I love him and that's a part of me. My husband, because marriage is a huge part of my life. A few things about my home decor, because I love creative spaces and decorating my home. And then some of our travel as well, because that's interesting and that's part of our life. But it's really important to keep this mix of professionalism. I'm not going to post 10 photos in a row of my dog because a future client does not care about that, and I don't feel like that's a very accurate representation of my business. And so you want to analyze the last 9 or so posts just on your Twitter and Instagram right now. So go to your Instagram feed, say what are the 9 photos at the top, and if they're all these random things that don't represent any part of your business, I think it's something that you need to change. There should be this even mix. So if the last 4 of my posts had more to do with my personal life, but you see at least 1 or 2 in the last 9, you're like, oh, she's a photographer, oh, she's a business blogger, I think that's okay and that makes sense. But it's really doing this audit of what your feed looks like, and the same goes for Twitter and Facebook. So a few things that I wouldn't post on my Instagram feed would definitely be anything negative, any frustrations about daily life even, or business. That's certainly nothing, like you don't want that online. Just let your frustrations be your own frustrations and get over them by yourself. That's not something that you want to present on social media, because social media can be read by anyone. And if somebody finds my feed for the very first time, I don't want them to see me venting about something. It's just not appropriate. You would never see that on a corporation's Instagram, and it shouldn't be on yours. So it should always be positive, highlighting the best moments of your life and your business while still being authentic. It doesn't mean you need to be fake. It just means you're choosing to share the beautiful things about your business and the beautiful parts of your day. Alright, so say you've gone through your Instagram and your Twitter and your Facebook feeds and you're like, oh, there's definitely some things in here that I would not want some future clients to see. I don't feel like it's an accurate representation of my brand. That's okay. We're all learning, and in business, you're always learning and you're always improving. So don't feel bad. Just start to make some changes from today. I'd also say that you would go through and do a little bit of an audit of your feeds. So if you, within reason, you don't want to, like I've had Twitter for the last 8 years. I'm not going to go, I used to tweet like purely about personal things. I'm not going to go delete those. That's just silly. But what I am going to do is see, like in the last 3 months, is there something I've tweeted that I don't want out there? Or same thing with Instagram, is they're just like, why did I post that 6 months ago? I might scroll down my feed and see like, oh, okay, I can just delete that. And don't feel bad about deleting things. You're just making your social media presence nicer and more uniform and more on brand, and that's a really good thing. So don't be afraid to do that. And as I said, we're all learning, and make a decision that from here on out, you're gonna play this balance of personal and business really well and as an accurate representation of who you are in your business. So if you enjoyed these tips that you've heard me speak about, there's 2 blog posts that come to mind that I think you will really love. The first one is called Do's and Don'ts for Using Instagram for Your Business. You can find the link to that blog post in the description of this video on YouTube right below, so be sure to check that out. The second one is called Taking Better Photos with Your iPhone. Oftentimes, especially if you're not a photographer, we don't have a professional camera around to create photos for our social media, and I really don't think it's necessary. I think the iPhone camera is amazing and the editing apps are amazing, and so if you just have a little bit of knowledge, it'll go a long way in creating a prettier Instagram feed and Twitter and Facebook and whatever you use those images for. So you can also find the link to that blog post. It's called Taking Better Photos with Your iPhone, and that'll be in the comments or the description below as well. So be sure to check out those two posts. I think you'll find them very, very helpful. So if you found this video helpful, I would love if you would subscribe. I think that'd be a great idea. I also think it'd be a great idea if you shared it with your friends. If you shared it, encourage them to subscribe as well. And of course, I would love your comments and love to hear from you in the comments below, and I'll be there to respond and answer any questions you have. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have an amazing day.